Hello and welcome to the Creatively Geeky Show. I'm your host of the evening, Eugene Stevens. I'm joined tonight by Ray and Chris. How are y'all doing?
Good.
All right.
Good. Yeah. Tired but good.
Tired but good. Isn't that adulthood? Like,
I think so.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So, tired has pretty much become a character trait for for me. So, anyway, tonight is one of our catch-up episodes. So tonight we'll be discussing the things that we've been watching, our input of creativity as compared to the output of creativity. So with that being said, should we just start with what we're watching? And if so, who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right, Ray, what have you been watching?
I've gone down the YouTube rabbit hole of Defunct Land.
Oh,
And it's so good. I know I got away from it for a little bit, and I'm going right back down into it.
he hasn't done anything in a while, though.
No, it's been a while, but I had to because I got back in I had a couple of that I hadn't watched yet, and with that, I don't know if you've ever heard of Jim Can't Swim.
No, I don't think I have.
So Jim Can't Swim, right at the beginning of like the really peak of like true crime and everybody really getting into true crime. Jim Can't Swim started a YouTube channel and did a deep dive into the psychology, the criminal psychology of breakdowns on interrogation methods and what they're looking for when they're actually getting answers. And anyway, really good stuff. Like there's some really interesting. Like if you're interested in that type of thing, definitely go check them out. But they were off, or they got demonetized, and then a lot of their stuff got shut down for quite a while. And they just actually reposted right around Christmas time. They posted a new video, and yeah, it's good to see them back. And everybody else is making these videos, so it's weird why they couldn't do their particular
Interesting
breakdown. But yeah, it was really interesting video. So it's between Defunct Land and Jim Can't Swim. Us.
Nice.
Watch it.
One of the most, I mean, the amount of research that he does on Defunct Land is crazy. But the one that just really blew me away was the one where he talks about how the new what replaced the Fast Pass system, how it doesn't actually help things. Have you watched that one?
Not yet. I'm about to.
Oh my God. Okay, so I don't want to ruin it for you, but he does he works with some other people and does a computer model on how fast passes really don't help out with things and actually kind of hurt the number of people that can get through stuff and everything. And at the end of the video has a kind of a surprise, and whenever it's revealed, it's kind of mind blowing. But yeah, I love that. I love when he does the things, because he would also do deep dives on, like, there was Defunct Land TV where he would talk about certain TV shows and stuff like that. And he did it on some shows that I just vaguely kind of remember. Like I think he did one on Today's Special, which I loved as a kid, and I was just like, I didn't know anything about this. It was like, oh yeah, it was a Canadian show. It was brought over, and I was just like, had no clue.
Yep.
That's why I'm surprised you know about that. I just thought it was exclusively Canadian.
No, they there was a lot of things that they imported down here.
Awesome.
About that time. But yeah, because I loved that show when it was, when I was younger, and I didn't know, a lot about all the different stuff and everything that went on behind it and everything. So
I'll have to watch it with you then.
but yeah, he's done some ones on that, and I know he's done some ones on some other TV shows, and but yeah, some of the, because I'm not a huge theme park / like roller coaster guy. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Uh-huh.
It's fun to go from time to time, and Lainey, of course, is a huge Disney nerd, and tells me about some of this stuff. But that's really a credit to how good a storyteller he is, because even if you're just mildly interested in some of this stuff, you start watching it and you can't help but get sucked in. You're just like, well,
yeah,
how is that? What happened? What what is the story behind Captain EO on at Disney and stuff? Like, how did they decide to make a ride based on Michael Jackson and like because he's done one on that and everything else? But yes, fantastic channel. If you're listening and you've never checked out Defunct Land, you are missing. He is one of the prime examples of how YouTube is just as good, if not better, than most of the crap that's on cable. Like I would much prefer to watch one of his shows, instead of just randomly flicking around on like History Channel or whatever, because I think it's much more interesting.
Yeah.
So,
I'd love to see him do something on like the Apollo missions or something like just his
with
style.
that level, yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah.
So, well, Chris, do you want to go next? Or do you want me to?
Sure, no, I can go. So as I'm crocheting, we, the whole family, minus Logan, has been watching Willow.
Okay.
And I vaguely remember watching it as a kid, and it wasn't until our kids got old enough that we're like, let's watch Willow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's corny and ridiculous and very 80s and all, around the time of Labyrinth and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it was big trend back then. But I love Warwick Davis.
Mm-hmm.
He pretty much can do no wrong in my eyes. He's
a national treasure.
He is Wicket. He is Willow. He is Professor Flitwick. He's just like, he's everything. And he's so cute. So yes, we're watching it, and I do like it. Some of it with Willow, I'm trying to remember. I should probably rewatch the movie, but I'm like, it's a bit. Somebody, it was a headline that I read that Willow's great until he shows up.
Okay.
Like, the show's great until Willow shows up. I'm like, the whole show's Willow. And then when I saw the first episode, I'm like, I kind of can see it, because he's sort of, for the first chunk, is a bit of a Debbie Downer. Like, he's a bit of a drag. Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of stuff going on, and it isn't really until this last episode that we just watched that it all comes out, and now it makes sense as to why Willow's been like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And,
yeah.
But it's all three of us watch it. Logan just sits there and scrolls on her phone. But it's a nice change from all the Star Wars shit that Disney's been pumping out like crazy. So it's a nice change. I refuse to watch Andor. And I know I'm being petty.
No, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't know if you would like it. It is a fantastic series, but it is definitely different than anything else Star Wars wise. Like, it is very adult. Like, the boys have asked me, and I'm like, we could watch it, but I don't think you're gonna like it. It's just so dark and adult, and
yeah. So I won't believe that. But so it's a nice change from all the MCU stuff and from the MCU, because personally, it was a bit of a burnout for me. I'm like, oh, another MCU show, woo!
Yeah.
I'm not caring as much as I used to about it. I'm getting a little apathetic. And then the Star Wars stuff, I just can't. There's so much of it, I can't keep it all straight in my head. So I just pick and choose with that. But yeah, Willow's it's beautiful. Like, visually, it's stunning. And the casting, they've got a lot, like a good chunk of the original cast.
Yeah.
Is back, and you had told me that they had left room for Val Kilmer to come back if he's well enough, if he's able to.
If he's ever able to. So they used his voice
and
his son and AI to create a specific scene. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you don't see him, it's his voice.
Just the voice.
Yeah.
And yeah, part of the reason was they want to leave room for potential.
Yeah. So the way they set up the storyline for Mad, I can't remember his name right now, for Val Kilmer's character, if he is able to in the future, and Disney renews it, he can come back. But Christian Slater was in an episode.
Wow, nice.
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
Like, it's nostalgia overload. It's amazing. Yeah. It's really, really good. Plus, there's a whole, like, all these young actors. The one that you probably would recognize, I can't remember her name right now, but she was in one of the Star Wars movies. She was in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. Yeah. She's the gorgeous red.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's in that too. And pardon me, she's not doing really anything different. She plays a warrior and kicks ass and she's all broody and stuff. But she's the only one that I really recognize outside of Warwick Davis.
No, the what's his name from Spider-Man?
Oh,
the
him
new
too.
series,
Oh,
yeah.
Flash from Spider-Man, the new
He's in
one.
it.
He's in it too.
Okay.
And I like his character because I have no idea. I don't know about him. I haven't figured him out yet. But it's good. So anyways, I'm rambling.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very good. It's a lovely change of pace for Disney, and I hope they pick other fantasy shows outside of Star Wars and MCU. Like, I feel like there's more. They have a massive catalog.
Yeah, they've got a huge catalog. They definitely need to go back and start remining some stuff. Even though what they currently keep mining, which I think I posted this on the back channel. It was shortly after I had rewatched Muppet Christmas Carol over the Christmas break, and someone had posted something or another about they're tired of Disney redoing all these old cartoon movies as live actions. They're like, you own the Muppets. Why are we not getting Beauty and the Beast as a Muppet? And I'm just like, yes, that.
That would be amazing.
Or
anything is Muppets.
Marvel movies.
Yes, they could do that too.
Come on,
oh my God, what if they did a what if where they did Muppets that way? That would be fantastic.
That would be cool.
Oh, that would be so good.
Gonzo would be Mr. Fantastic. Those would stretch.
Yeah.
But I'm like, because the thing they put forth, and I think we even expounded on the idea was like, what if you got like everyone's a Muppet except for the Beast, and we pick a really handsome dude, and I was like, John Hamm would be perfect for this because the man can act like no one's business because he can do both the serious and the silly, and I think he interacting with Muppets would look awesome. But literally, of course, at the end when he becomes beautiful, it's a Muppet version of him. I think that would be great.
That would be hilarious. Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, he's hideous. It's like, no, it's John Hamm. So
well, all the other Muppets are turning into other actors, like other people.
Oh yes, that would be even better. Oh, they could do the hell out of that. Oh, that would be so funny.
Disney, you owe us.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, so I agree with you on that. I'm enjoying the stuff that they're doing still with the Marvel and Disney and Marvel and Star Wars stuff. I understand where you're kind of getting a little tired of it. You're not the only one. I have other friends that are in the same boat. But it's on my to-do list. I just haven't gotten around to it. I was hoping to get a lot of TV and movies watched over the Christmas break, and it just didn't happen. Like, it just seems like there was always something small coming up. I was like, well, I'll take care of this and I'll get back to it. And then I just never did. So, so my watch, I actually have not finished it. I've got 2 episodes left. I am currently watching Wednesday on Netflix. First off, the ridiculousness of everyone online going, "Oh, Netflix hasn't renewed it. It may be going somewhere else."
Oh, they renewed it. There's season 2.
Number one, like, it is featured. Like, you cannot log into Netflix without it being like the first thing that they're advertising right now. And I'm like, their name is all over this. I'm like, they were never going to let this thing go. Like, they were just holding it out for you people to be stupid and write about and everything. I'm enjoying it. And what the funny thing is I'm sitting there watching it. I'm going, this is very teen drama type.
Yeah.
And yet I'm still enjoying it because normally I would not be really into that type of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just, I'm wrestling over this idea of, do I just enjoy it because it is the Addams Family and I do have a soft spot in my heart? Like, if these were different different named people, like, it's just this new thing, it's just this weird family that has this girl that's whatever, would I still care? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I would or not. I don't know if I would have given it a shot or not. That being said, like I said, I'm enjoying it, and it doesn't matter that it's kind of teeny, drama-y, type of thing. I am very glad that people have started pointing out, because it's funny, before I even started seeing anything, I'd read something with my partner, and I talked to my partner about, I was like, have you seen this crap where people are getting on to, some of the casting, talking about how they've got, what's his name playing Gomez? Luis Guzman. Yeah. And I'm like, and as I said it, he looks at me and goes, have they never seen the original cartoon? Like the original? And I'm just like, Exactly.
Yeah. They've gone back because Raul Julia and Tim Curry, while attractive men, that's not how Gomez is supposed to.
No.
He's short, he's plump. Morticia is tall and willowy.
Yeah. And I mean, and I think part of the issue is a lot of people, that's what they know as the Addams family. So when they see a different representation, it's like, what is this? This is not the suave, extremely outgoing Gomez Addams that I'm used to. This guy is more humble and quieted, and yeah.
I like this version of
I
Gomez.
do too.
Yeah.
He's so sweet and he's so dear, and I love what he calls Wednesday. His little viper, his little storm cloud, his little scorpion, and I'm like,
Yes.
oh, those are so cute. He just loves her. Yeah. And he just
So
loves
my I know about Uncle Fester.
yeah.
The next episode's actually where he comes in, and I'm totally down for. It's funny because I was listening to someone was like, I'm watching the show, and they're like, he's not playing Fester, he's playing himself, just dressed up and just being himself, and he's like, and yet I'm oddly still just like, no, this is fine, I'm totally what's his name who's played Fester. But the whole time I was watching it, in the back of my head I kept thinking, what does Chris think about this? Because we've had multiple conversations, like we've talked about if you could reboot anything, if you could modernize something, if you could do it, and Addams Family's kind of your go-tos. So the whole time, if you have not watched the show, part of the drama that's going on in the show is Wednesday is 15, she's turning 16, she's at that age, and she is rebelling against her parents, very heavily so. Which, one of the things you pointed out that you love about the Addams Family so much, and I totally agree with you, is the fact that they love their kids and support their kids no matter how and what they are. And I thought, well, this is kind of odd, but just a little bit of information you get at the very beginning of the first episode, I'm just like, it doesn't seem like they're really trying. Like, she feels like they're trying to put her in a box and make sure she, I'm not going to be like you, Mom. I'm not going to be a housewife. I'm not going to, my life is not going to revolve around kids and all that. And I never really got that that's what they were pushing for. And so this last episode, when they have the resolution of that, I'm just like, and I said it today in the chat, I'm just like, kind of seems like Wednesday's just rebelling for rebelling's sake, and can't ever imagine a teenager doing that.
Well, and that's the thing, right? So, because that was the one sticking point was their relationship, right? Because Morticia is Morticia, and she's very different from Wednesday. But the whole thing about the Addams Family, why it's so amazing, is that they just love their kids for who they are, and it doesn't matter. And the fact that they made this weird tension between the two of them that just felt very, very fake. And Wednesday was like, had it in her head that her mother was like, you will be like me. That was never she did not want to go to Evermore, which is why she kept going from high school to high school to high school, was because she absolutely refused, and then kind of got expelled from everything and had to go there. And it bugs me because the relationship between Enid and her mother. Have you been to Parents' Day?
Yes, I have seen Parents' Day. Yes, that's the episode where they get things resolved.
So between Enid and her mother, that makes sense because her mother refuses to see her as anything other than you will be this. You are going to do anything else is not an option. So Enid is just desperate. Be like, Mom, just see me as I am. I'm not gonna, and I'm okay with it. Please, just trust that I'm okay with it. And she just won't accept. So that was very believable. The one Xavier and his dad, that's believable because his dad just basically dumped him there and he left. And then Bianca and her mom, and that makes sense. But yeah, the one with Wednesday and Morticia, that was my only sticking point. Is I felt really forced and kind of ridiculous because it's like she's moody about enough stuff. You're gonna create tension where there isn't any.
Right.
The only thing I could think of, and this is just trying to play devil's advocate.
Oh, I love it when you do that.
Is that she's rebelling against the idea of her being in love, and she's rebelling. Like, if she goes to this school, there's a potential for her to fall in love like her mom did, and she doesn't want that. She's terrified of being in love.
Maybe.
Well, she even says, like, whatever we do, I can never be as good as you are. You're like, I'm on the fencing team. You were the captain. I won the competition. You won it 4 times. Like, I
Yeah.
will never be able to reach. And she's like, it's not a competition, dear. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
it never
Yes.
was because I
Yeah.
just love you.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but I so wish there was a Nevermore Academy when I was a teenager. I never ever fit in high school. It was brutal, and to just go to a place where like nobody fits in, and
everyone's an outcast.
everybody's an outcast, and you're
Yes.
just you are who you are, and nobody gives a shit. Like, you can genuinely be your
Mhm.
authentic self, and there's a strong likelihood that somebody's going to be weirder than you. Would have been amazing.
I do like the kid with the bees.
Oh,
Yeah.
Eugene.
So, yeah. Sorry, Eugene.
Every time there's a character named Eugene, they're either weird or wimpy or.
He can control bees.
I don't think he knows that yet.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So the
Oh,
one character that I actually had the most problem with was Pugsley. I was just like,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
never felt that he would have been that big of a wimp, I guess to say. Like,
Yeah.
insecure. Insecure is the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
So
I agree. I don't think he quite would have been, but I think they made it a point of. I think they said it like right from the beginning that this is not a sibling story. This is just
Right.
totally on Wednesday. So it kind of made Pugsley uninteresting on purpose, so that you wouldn't be wondering what he's doing.
You know what's interesting now that I think about it? I know they've renewed it for season 2.
Yeah.
I would assume that would be her essentially sophomore year at Nevermore. If there's only 2 or 3 years between the two of them, how interesting would it be for the 3rd or 4th season if they do one where now Pugsley joins her and we see him actually
Grow up
and that would be interesting. Who knows? They may be playing that long game, but yeah, Pugsley's the one character that was a little.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I really like the casting of everyone else. And then, oh my God, the guy who does all of the work for Thing is
Yeah.
fantastic.
So not just Thing, but like the stitches and like the scars.
Oh yeah, they made it like all Frankenstein. That was really cool.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that was
I think it's a
awesome.
great addition.
Yes, that
No.
was one of my favorite things.
And once again, he's just like all these other great characters. He's, of course, doesn't ever say a word, but just
Everybody understands him.
the emotion that he gets across by. I love the fact that he has a different version of sign language that he can do to kind of talk and that she understands it. And I'm just like, of course, that's how this would be. This is great. So one more character I want to bring up before we go on. Her roommate Enid. I wasn't sure about her at first. I love that young lady. She's fantastic. She has an infectious smile. I love how she's still.
Yep.
What's funny is there's a guy that I listen to as a podcaster. He's like, everyone else has been telling him, he's like, you need to watch this. And he's like, well, which one of my daughters would this hit the most? And no, all of them. The entire family's going to love this. And he's like, the only problem is my wife's unsure about watching it because she kind of feels like it's watching his middle daughter roommating with his middle daughter from 2 years ago. Like, she was very outgoing and bright and sunny and very colorful, and now she's kind of going through an emo stage. And he's like, he's like, it's gonna be kind of weird to watch a show where it's literally like, oh hey, look, that was you from 2 years ago, and here's you now. So, but no, very seriously, if you have not watched, it doesn't matter, male, female, whatever, however old you are, you don't have to be a teenager to it. This is a great show. It's fantastic. It's fun. So
the teen angst I feel like is at a minimum because I've seen like I watched Winx the fairy one on Netflix, and there are some super cheesy parts in it. You're like, oh God, you're eye rolling. You're like, okay, calm down. But like, I feel like the teen angst and all that drama's, it's not at the forefront. They've made Wednesday the complete focus of the whole show.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Let's move on to what we're listening to. Ray, what are you listening to?
I was doing quite a bit of podcasts because it's hockey time and we're getting closer to the trade deadline and stuff like that. So the Chris Johnson podcast, which is on the SDPN. So I've been listening to that quite a bit, but kind of hit the nostalgia button. We listened to Sing we watched Sing the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was yesterday. That's right. And then I was kind of like, oh, I should go down the because in Sing 2, U2 comes, Bono actually joins Sing 2. And I'm like, you know what? Need to listen. So I listened to some U2 on the way to work, and then I was listening to some Foo Fighters. So I got back into the 90s mix of rock, because that's my go-to. That's where I feel most comfortable. So yeah,
Nice.
listen most of that.
Gotcha. Cool. Chris, what have you been listening to?
Two things. Scott Meyer's Authorities 2, which I can never remember the sequel name. And
Yeah, we're almost done.
so we're almost on that one. But then the one that I'm listening to that nobody else is Overstory, which is Jen's pick from Marginally Geeky.
Mhm.
And I have 5.5 hours left. She's a slog. She's a slog of a book. And I don't know if it's because I'm listening to it and the narration is slow, or if it's just this. I like the book now. When I started it, I was like, what is this? This is very messy. I don't know where this is going. It's a lot more cohesive now, and it makes more sense, and I'm actually interested. But it is getting to the point where I'm like, are we done yet? Is this book over? Why do I still have hours left? What is left to tell? What is left to tell? But it's an interesting, I kind of think of it as environmental historical fiction, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool, which I haven't read anything like that before. So it's definitely interesting. Super flowery language, which sometimes I glaze over, and I'm like, did he really need to write it like that? Unnecessarily complicated, but whatever.
So I'd have to re-listen to it at like 1.5 times.
Yes, because it is a female narrator. She does have that.
So interesting thing. Sorry to cut you off.
Real quick, we are doing that next month, right? We're doing the recap.
Yeah.
Okay, just double checking. I was like, crap, I need to go listen to it.
No. I wanted to start it now because I knew it would take me a while.
Okay, well, I was just double checking because Sean's also trying to listen to it, and I was just like, did I get confused or okay, good.
But it is, the first chunk is a slog because you're listening to, because it's a bunch of, it seems very disjointed, and you're like, what is the point of all this? And then eventually it starts making sense. But yeah, you have to power through.
Gotcha.
So the book that I had picked a while ago and then changed, I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, same narrator, and I'm wondering if it's her issue.
Oh, it's the same narrator. Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Could be, because it does make a difference.
Because I can only listen to Jim Dale when he's narrating Harry Potter.
Yeah,
apparently.
Gotcha.
Anywhere else, I hate it.
So it's no offense to his narrator, but
so I've just started listening to 2 different podcasts. So I started listening to a podcaster. He does a political podcast called Politics, and it's the one political podcast that I would listen to. And then he started another one where it's him and 2 other people, and it's called We're Not Wrong. And it's him and these 2 other people, Jen Briney and Andrew Heaton, and they both have their own podcast or whatever. Well, anyway, they get together and they'll talk about a subject, and they could completely disagree on whatever's going on, but they joke, they have fun, they never get angry with each other, and in some cases they're like, no, that's a good point, you may have actually turned me around on this idea. So it's the type of political discussion you would like to have.
What's it called again?
Well, the name of this podcast is We're Not Wrong.
We're Not Wrong.
And what's funny is because Justin Robert Young sometimes will be like specifically antagonize the other 2 into, he's like, oh, are you going to take that down? That type of thing, But anyway, so I've been listening to that for a while, and I got caught up on a bunch of other stuff, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to give the other 2 a chance and listen to their original podcast. So the 2 podcasts that I've started listening to, one is called The Political Orphanage, and it's done by a gentleman by the name of Andrew Heaton. He used to work in Washington. He actually worked, I think he said Fox News for a while. He was never what you would call a hardcore Republican, but he was definitely in the Republican Party, mainly for the economics. And he's like, I'm a political orphan now because the party has left me, and the Democrats are just as freaking crazy, but for different reasons. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, I'm a political outcast. And his show, what little bit I've listened to, is he will get these people who are either experts or at least think they're experts on stuff, and he'll discuss stuff with them. Like the one I was listening to just like yesterday, I think. Oh, it made my head hurt. It was this guy, and it was ex- imagine the most extreme ideology of why we should not be part of NATO, and how it's kind of hard to describe. But he won't necessarily. He's not going to argue with his guest. He may bring up some points and ask stuff or whatever, and then after he has this conversation, he'll go find someone on the complete opposite end of the scale and interview them as well, so that you get both
Yeah.
sides.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is fantastic. Like, yes, he does some, he will kind of point out some stuff as he's going along, but he also does a lot of research on his stuff. And some of the stuff he's pointed out, I'm just like, I never knew that. And I sure as hell wasn't going to get it from, normal media.
Yeah.
The other one that I'm listening to, so that one's called The Political Orphanage. The other one I've started listening to is Jen Briney's show, and it's called Congressional Dish. And the 2-hour episode she just put out, I think this last month, may actually be one of the most important episodes of any podcast I've ever heard. She basically, the point of her show is she actually goes through and reads all of these huge bills and proposal that go through Congress and
Wow.
breaks them down. She
Wow.
actually reads them and does this. And this last episode she put out on the anniversary of January 6th
Yeah.
was basically condensing. I think it was 29 hours of the January 6th hearings that they did over 8 sessions. It's like 29 hours. She condensed all of that information into a 2-hour show. Now she is very, very anti-Trump. I wish she had not put in that political view as she was reading and getting information out, but because she took a lot of snippets from from the actual thing, and so you're hearing these people say this stuff in their own voice. The only reason I wish that is because otherwise I would totally point this to anyone who could possibly think he at this point should not be tried for treason, and say, just go listen to this. It's 2 hours of your life. Just listen to this and just tell me what you think afterwards. Like there's
What's it called?
What?
What's it called again? Just
Congressional Dish.
Okay.
And it's specifically the January 6th breakdown. But yeah, like she specifically says, this asshole, this jerk, he did, I wish she hadn't put that stuff in there, but it's her show, she's gonna do it the way she wants. And but yeah, the whole time I'm listening to it, I'm just like, man, you're absolutely right. They screwed that up so bad. They should not have done this over 8 sessions, over multiple months, over 20. If they had boiled this down to a 2-hour thing, 2 or 3 hour thing, and presented it to the American people all in one cohesive, thought out way, I think things would be a lot different. But as the way it is now, it's like, oh, we're going to pepper some stuff in and pepper some more stuff in. It's just like, yeah, they screwed up. And she even says this. Even though I'm glad they did these hearings, they screwed up the way they did it.
Yeah.
So, if you're thinking about doing anything, if you want to know more about the U.S. political system, these are actually 2 really good podcasts to go listen to. Like I said, she's obviously a never Trumper, but by that means she also, and she does, talk bad about the Republicans quite a bit, but she drags the Democrats through shit as well. So like she'll point out, oh no, they're doing this or doing that or whatever. So, but yeah, if you want to get kind of a clue as to where they sit on the spectrum of the three shows I just said, We're Not Wrong is the one I would point you to because it's the most fun, the most lighthearted, and the most kind of back and forth debate. If you're looking for something that's got more factual, like research wise, then go check out one of the other 2. So, all right, Ray. What's the next question? What have you been thinking about?
Thinking. All right. So I was listening to the Steve Dangle podcast today on the way home. Yeah. And they were talking about some stuff. And again, it's a hockey podcast, so you don't really expect them to talk about anything other than hockey. And then they started talking about wrestling. They talked about the whole selling of the WWE, what that's kind of looking like, why they're losing so many fans. Vince McMahon is a complete dick.
Yeah.
Anyway, so some shit's going down there. But one thing that I've been thinking about, and I might actually approach you about doing a show on it. So Steve Dangle was talking about the time when he was a kid, and he had little wrestlers, and they were playing with the wrestlers and all that stuff. And then he got Woody as a wrestler, and but his favorite wrestler that was a non-wrestler was Megabyte from Reboot.
Mhm.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, that'd be amazing. So
Megabyte was jacked.
Megabyte was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Jacked.
So anyway, I'm like, fuck, what other like historical for us anyway, cartoons or animations or even
You should just
serial.
call our cartoon history historical.
Yes.
My dude.
It
You
is.
have to? I feel that's
Well,
rude. You're rude. That's too much.
They're-
Historical.
They're old. Anyway. So yeah, just take a look at all that and kind of thinking of creating our own Royal Rumble.
That would be awesome.
Right? We each get a certain number, and they go into the ring, and then we kind of play out how that would all go down.
That would be a lot of fun. I'm sure Joseph would want to join us on that one. So hell, we might even be able to talk Lou on for that one.
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I think it would be too. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Anyway,
so
that's what I've been thinking about.
Good deal. Chris, what have you been thinking about?
So I don't know what it's like where you are, but here in Canada, the food prices have gone ballistic, and it's projected that our food prices are going to go up another 11% this year, and that to me is bonkers, and it also makes me a little worried because Ray's got a wonderful job, and we're very blessed that way. So really, buying food it's not a worry for us. We're lucky that way. Here, there are people who are going hungry because they literally cannot afford the basics, because they've gone, every time I go to the grocery store, something has gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I usually buy has gone up by 50 cents, by $1. And it's a little bit frightening to me that this isn't projected to peter out. It's going to keep going up. And so what I've been thinking about more and more is food preservation and becoming a more ingredient-based house and having less pre-made snacks and less pre-made stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because ingredients are cheaper than the processed packaged thing. Usually on a whole, that's how it works. So I've been looking into the type of equipment that we would need, what I'm willing to do, because there's limits. I can't do everything.
No, absolutely, yeah.
So my new goal is to make as much of our bread as possible, our bread products. So, pardon me. And then my mom got me this like 15-in-1 thing. It's like an air fryer. It's also a dehydrator.
Oh, nice.
So I'm going to learn how to dehydrate food because I've wanted a dehydrator for years. But it's just scary to me that I'm at the point now where I'm like, geez, I'm trying to keep our grocery bill under a certain number, and I'm having a really hard time, and I'm not buying extra stuff. I'm just buying, and I have a grocery list, and I've made my menu plan, and I've been doing that for years. I'm not one that walks in and is like, I don't know, and buys the things. I have a very meticulous list, and I don't go with him because the list always gets shot to hell.
I'm not.
No, he's not, and that's why I do it. And he doesn't like grocery shopping, and I do. I enjoy it.
Oh, I don't mind it. I just go to one store.
Oh, and I go to two, and they're side by side. That's the thing. You park in the same parking lot. Anyway, that's not the point. But it's just something that's been weighing heavily on my mind. That even though he makes a really great salary, we're starting to be like, okay, this can't go much higher, or we're like needing to make some decisions, and I just can't imagine what it's like for people who are on a fixed income or who are in a lower tax bracket. Yeah, it's just scary. So food preservation, I want to learn how to can. There's 2 types. The pressure canning freaks me out a little bit because there's a lot of science that I don't understand. and dehydrating all that stuff, and just creating a pantry. I already know where I want in the basement. And it's not because I don't trust the government, and I'm planning friend of days and all that other crap that preppers do. It's not that. It's just the price of food has gone up, that it's becoming more and more apparent that becoming an ingredient-based house is probably the most frugal way for us to go about it. So that's all I've been thinking about. Just that.
Just light thoughts.
No, yeah, exactly. Let's do a wrestling podcast with cartoons.
Exactly.
Price of food. Yeah. I guess I'm some.
Where you are, if food prices.
No. Price of foods are definitely going up. Like for a while now, I have increased our weekly budget from $300 to $400. And that's for laundry, detergent, and stuff like that as well. So some weeks it's heavier than others, and used to it was like, okay, well we're keeping it under 300, it's fine, and it didn't take long, until the last year that was like, all right, I really got to bump this up to 400 just to kind of make sure. And now it's same thing. And the sad thing is in some cases it's like, well, I kind of wanted to make this, but now that I thought about it, I might be able to go to a fast food restaurant and buy it for almost the same thing. Like, what is going on at the grocery store? It's crazy. Of course, there's a running joke right now that I keep seeing everyone posting about, the price of eggs.
Yeah.
And yeah, eggs are stupid expensive for what they are. I mean, they're not like, everyone's going to start killing each other over, eggs or whatever. It's not like that, but it's just, it's crazy that it's like $7 or $8 for a carton of eggs. And it's like, yeah, that was like $2 or $3 a year ago. Like, what the hell?
It is scary to know, to visibly see it, because over the course of years things go up by pennies, incrementally, right? But
or they shrink the package.
Well, I was going to say, or that's the other thing is, hey, it's still the same low price, but now it's 28 ounces instead of 32. And
so I took a look at it was funny. I was taking a look at we buy tea, and it comes in a package, and in one of the packages last year, there's 24 bags of tea, and then I looked at the one that we bought recently, and there's 20 bags. So 4 less bags of tea, same price, same packaging. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, and so it's to see it just jump so drastically. Like last year, it's been a year, and it just keeps getting more and more and more, and it's freaking me out a little bit. But again, not from its distribution lines. Like when we had our big blizzard here over Christmas, it shut down 3 counties around here, 3 or 4 counties. So distribution lines got blocked. It was half of the province was under this blizzard warning for like 5 days.
Yeah.
And you come out of it, and it's affected the distribution system. So there's blocks of shelves in the grocery store that are completely empty because the trucks haven't been able to make it because of the road closures and stuff like that. So there's things like that it's beyond it's weather. You can't control the weather. So things like that, and the weather's only going to get more and more unpredictable. So it's just trying to create a peace of mind. Again, I'm not building a bunker. I don't want us to wear tinfoil hats because I think people are reading our minds from space. And I do trust my government a healthy amount.
But when the zombies come, well, we know where we're going. So
yes, I know exactly.
Yeah.
I know where I'm going. I'm not putting up a back crack.
No, I totally get that. I guess my thought is somewhere in between the two. So I have this week started putting together these matrices that I had originally 3D printed and bought the stuff for back in June or so. I went ahead and put my Etsy store on vacation mode because I was like, I don't want to have to deal with anything, because we were in Tyler for like a week. I was like, I don't have to deal with any of that stuff. We're halfway through January almost, and my store is on vacation mode still. I got to really looking through my messages, and I really haven't had anyone asking for the Matrix for quite a while. And I'm pretty certain these are the last ones I'm doing. I think this is my final round.
yeah.
I think I'm just I was playing with the idea of keeping my Etsy store, and who knows, I may open it back up and just offer the small things that I can just do, the simple things that take hardly any time at all to do. But there's also a part of me that's just like, for what? For what reason? Why? I mean, yeah, I might make another $40 to $100 maybe a month if it's a good month. I'm like, is even just that little bit of time worth it? And I'm kind of debating that, but I think this is definitely the last Matrixes. I'm just like I was trying to explain it to my boys this morning how, well, I sell them for 150. Well, the parts and stuff are $60 to $70 and it costs $20 to ship it. And I'm like, by the time you do that, if it takes me 4 hours to roughly 4 hours to put one together, how much is Dave paying himself? And uh, I'm just like, I don't think it's really worth my time anymore. So I think I'm either going to just go to the very simple stuff on my Etsy store, or I'm just going to shut it down completely and be like, I'm done. Because I don't, like I said, there's not a lot of people banging down my door asking, for some of this stuff anymore. And who knows? I may have, and like I was telling my partner today, I said I may have hit kind of market saturation anyway. So it may be, this is just kind of the natural thing that's come around.
Yep.
But yeah, I kind of think I'm done. Like I'm gonna get these last ones together. What's funny is I call him my contact. The dude Carl who's bought several of them from me. He's already told me he's like, well, however many you do for this last run, I may buy most of them from you. So I may already have them sold. And just be like, all right, Carl, I'll go ahead and sell the rest of them to you. So Joseph wants to buy one. The problem I'm having is I've got back here behind me, I've got a Mark One, the first generation ones I did, signed by Pierre Cullen. I'm going to go see the man in March. And I'm playing with the idea of I don't have a Mark II built for myself. And part of me is like, do I take two Mark IIs with me and I give him one of them and I have him sign the other one as my personal one? And then this one, if I ever decided I needed to make a little extra scratch, I could literally auction off, hey, here's an Autobot Matrix that I designed and made and everything else, signed by the man himself. And just, see. So I don't know. But yeah, so I'm kind of playing around with that idea. So that's what's going through my head is, am I severely paring back my Etsy store and keeping that like it is, or am I just closing up shop? And what's funny was I was like, I couldn't wait. There was a big stretch of time. I was so excited and could not wait to get to 1,000 sales. So it would literally say I had over 1,000 sales, and and it's like now I'm just like, whatever. I don't care. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's what I've been thinking about. All right, if we want to run through this really quick, the last thing we have in there is what we've been doing. You want to run through that real quick?
Yeah, I've got three things. So one is paintings. I've actually made it through a couple of paintings, which is fun.
Yeah, you have.
I was able to get one done that was a request from a couple of years ago. So glad to get that one off my chest. And
Nice.
I made a bathtub tray. Somebody wanted a bathtub tray.
Only one in the house that takes baths.
And she likes to watch her movies.
I like to watch stuff on
I totally get that. Yeah.
So I was able to bang one out yesterday pretty quick. So worked out nicely.
And I watched Twilight.
And then I'm working on a 2,000 piece puzzle that the kids got me for, that Logan got for me for Christmas. And a lot of my progress has gone backwards because of the stupid cat. So
She likes to sit on it.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so yeah, working on that too.
Nice. Chris, what have you been up to?
So I've been making stuff.
Obviously.
This has gotten a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Oh God.
I said it too.
So I remember last time saying that I wanted to put a dent in my to-do pile, like of my crochet stuff. So I went down there sometime last month and was like, all right, what do I have? I know I have stuff. What is it? I wound up frogging 2 projects. Frogging meaning ripping it.
Mm-hmm.
This is part of one of the projects that I ripped apart. And I felt really good about it. I'm like, I don't like this. This is just sitting here. So I ripped it all apart, rewound all the yarn. That sweater that I was going to make for my niece is now a blanket because I was like, who am I kidding myself? I'm not making her a fucking sweater. And it's been 2 years and she has forgotten. So I just started making a blanket out of that, and I need more yarn, obviously. So a couple of the colors are out of stock, so I'm just waiting for that. And now my little basket that I made is down to one blanket, which is good, that I planned on making a long time ago. So once I've done this, I'm going to do that one and just, yeah. And I'm painting Quinn's room. I already painted Quinn's room. But what he wants to do is we're going with the theme of a time traveler's room. Mm-hmm. So like a set design style or anything. It's like he time travels and picks up little tchotchkes from each time period he's in. So he has, a couple of swords. He's got some Nerf guns. He's got, Warhammer. He's got a lot of stuff. So I painted his room, and then he had the idea of kind of trying to paint rips in time, like in Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. So I found some glow-in-the-dark paint.
Nice.
So he drew all over his walls where he wanted them, and then he wanted this one scene. It's in Monster Hunter, and it's a Nergante animal, and he wanted the scene that it's like the time ripped open, and you're looking into that universe. So I printed it off. It's up in his room. I printed off a picture of a scene, and I've ripped the edges, and I'm gonna Mod Podge it to the wall, and then put glow in the dark paint around it. And no, I didn't tell him about that. So that's what I'm doing. And I rearranged Quinn's room a little bit, but we're gonna put a crap ton of shelves in there because boy, he likes to. We're in the Warhammer era of his nerdum right now, and he got a crap ton of D&D figures from my mom for Christmas, so he's got stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, and a lot of Lego stuff. It'll be fine. It's only this big. It's fine. It'll be fine. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. It's okay.
It's all good.
Don't worry.
I have a suggestion for you if you're gonna go that far.
I've already gone that far. I can't find you're lucky I can't find my Mod Podge, or else it would already be done.
What were you gonna say, Ray?
Oh, if we're going that far, I'm bringing in the drywall compound and actually building the edges out over top of the paper after you Mod Podge it and cracking it, make it look like there's an actual hole through it.
Well, you're gonna go big, right?
Rips in time that we've got going on.
Where were you? Well.
Where were you?
At work.
Making the grocery money. There you go. What I've been doing. I brought home several things. I was hoping to try to get some small projects done over the break, and I didn't get anything done. And I'm feeling that urge. All right, I need to start knocking some projects off. But I've just been spending time with my family, and I've been enjoying it. So, Alex got an Xbox Series S for Christmas, and Nick has been using my Xbox One S. It's sitting here I'm looking at right now. And we've been trying to find some games to play, and talking with Ray and Sean and one of their other friends, Mike. I bought Diablo and have started playing with them, and Diablo 3. I'm trying to be specific, and I've got my boys started on it, and they're enjoying it. In fact, we've even managed to pull our friend Lewis into it, and part of me is just like, God, I wish Joseph wouldn't have found a PlayStation 5, because I almost had talked into getting an Xbox, and then he could have joined us as well. So, but anyway, so I've been playing games with the boys, and that's been a hell of a lot of fun. And over the Christmas break, Christy and I, going through and watching our traditional Christmas stuff, and she brings up, we haven't watched Festivus yet. We haven't watched the Festivus episode of Seinfeld yet. So we watched it. I don't know if you realize or not, there were only 9 seasons of Seinfeld, and Festivus was halfway through the 9th season. It was literally at the very end.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought it was much earlier. So anyway, we watched it, and then she goes, do you want to keep watching? I was like, yeah, sure, we can watch another episode or so. And we ended up finishing the 9th season. And then she went back and started the 9th season. And then we watched the 8th season. And now we're starting the 7th season. And we're just having fun. And I was like, do we want to go back to like season 2 or 3 and just start there? She's like, no, we'll just keep going this way. But yeah, we're having fun. And there are some episodes that I don't remember the main plot. Like, I'll remember the A or B plot, but not necessarily the A plot. And it's kind of interesting going some of things going, I don't remember this one, or watching and going, is this the one where, and sometimes I get it right, sometimes like, oh no, that was a different one where this happened. But
Yeah.
um, I'm having fun watching old TV with my wife, and I'm having fun,
Fun.
playing games with the boys, and just kind of relaxing. Like I said, I am feeling, we're about to start getting up and going in again with Ghostbuster stuff. I've already got a bunch of stuff lined up for different stuff, and um, so I got to start kind of getting on the ball with that. But not doing an Etsy store also gives me more time to do the stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
That's also part of it. But yeah, I'm just kind of enjoying doing whatever right now, and having fun with that. And I'm looking forward to start getting started on projects again. I've got a crap ton of them I need to do, but yeah, it's been fun to just kind of like, what, I'm just gonna sit here and watch YouTube or whatever. So just to throw one more thing out there, I was looking for some more stuff to watch, and I found this guy. It's Blacktail Woodworking, I think is what it is. And he makes these like 8 and 9 foot long tables that are like live edge with resin pours.
Yep.
And he talks about not only how he does it, like he actually did an entire series on, like, if you have ever wanted to do this, buy this, and I literally go step by step on how to do it.
Okay.
But he talks about how, yeah, this is an $18,000 table that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And when he talks about it, and you're just like, my God, why is it so expensive? And he's like, well, the wood that I bought was $3,000. Like, buying this slab was $3,000 by itself. He's like, and then there's several $1,000s worth of resin. He's like, in this, you pour it, and now it has to sit here for 2 weeks and completely dry out and stuff. And he goes, that's part of my shop I can't use.
Yep.
And so, like, when you start breaking it down, you're just like, oh no, I understand now why this is $18,000. Not
Yep.
that I'm ever going to buy one, but still. But yeah, just watching stuff like that, watching other people be creative and stuff, and just has been fun. So, but anyway, all right. I think that is our show for the month, ladies and gentlemen. If you would please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, Google, Stitcher, wherever it is you listen to the show. You can find us at epicallygeeky.com, where you can watch and listen to the rest of our shows, including the Epically Geeky Show, the Marginally Geeky Show, and the Sustainably Geeky Show. You can find us on social media, even though we're not that active, but still on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as long as that black hole is still open. Where can we find you online, Ray?
Cool.
What?
Staying away from the cesspool of Twitter.
Yeah, right.
The real thing, yeah, you got Instagram, and fixing everything from Sean on friggin' Wikipedia still. Damn it, Sean.
Nice. Chris, where can we find you online?
All the shows you mentioned, and on Instagram at Moody Midlife.
And you can follow my individual wacky adventure online at Optimus Gene on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For everyone on the site, have a good night.